Good evening, children.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, children. Good evening. Yeah, I think we were talking about. Yes, we were discussing this yesterday. Yeah. Correct. So yesterday we saw the different methods of solving a quadratic equation. Different methods. I think we saw how to factorize by splitting the middle term, solving by factorizing by splitting the middle term, and then by completing the square. Yes, I'm just recalling. Yes. Okay. So of the three methods, so we have three methods, of solving a quadratic equation. One, factorization, which is very familiar to us. We factorize by splitting the middle term. Or we also saw another one yesterday where we had 4 terms. We grouped 3 of them, which make a perfect square.
And we want to divide it to a common term to make the x square as 1.
Yeah, and once we do that, then it's of the form x square minus y square. We treat it as a difference of 2 squares and solve for x. Let me show you that. Okay, so the factorization, we'll just have a look again. Factorization by splitting the middle term, or by grouping the first 3 terms, not first 3 terms, of the 4 terms, grouping 3 terms and having one separately, and then later treating it as a difference of 2 squares. We also saw this method yesterday, completing the square. We are still to see the quadratic formula. We are still to see the quadratic formula, solving a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. We are still to see this. Let's just have a look at what we did yesterday. So here, there's a quadratic equation in one variable x, and we have understood how to solve for x by splitting the middle term. By splitting the middle term, we did this yesterday. We did yesterday. This also. We factorize by splitting the middle term. By splitting the middle term. This one. We did another one here. So splitting the middle term basically is identifying the sum, identifying the product, and then identifying the 2 expressions that will satisfy the sum and the product. Splitting the middle term works like this. You first, from the equation given, you identify the sum, the expression that represents the sum, and then the expression that represents the product, and then you find 2 new expressions that satisfy the sum and the product, with the help of which you split the middle term. With the help of these 2 expressions, we split the middle term. So this is the middle term. And then, yeah, I was talking about this one. Solve for x any method. So here we factorize by grouping 3 terms, which make a perfect square. And so here, see, we group these 3 terms. We have minus b square separately. These 3 terms make a perfect square. These 3 terms make a perfect square. And after that, so see the first 3 terms. The first 3 terms is equal to x minus 2a the whole square. And then that minus b square is written as minus b the whole square. Now it's a difference of 2 squares, like p square minus q square. So it's p plus q into p minus q. So like this, we we solve the equation. We solve for x. So this is what we saw yesterday. And then yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. Solve by solve for x by completing the square. This also we understood yesterday. How to solve for x by completing the square. So basically solving a quadratic equation, meaning solving for x by factorization is one method. Here solving for x by completing the square. This again we understood two sums yesterday, A and yeah, we finished B also. So this is what we learned yesterday. Yes. So we have to continue by understanding how the quadratic formula, the third method. Factorization we have seen, completing the square we have seen. Now next we have to understand how to solve a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. So before that we'll understand how the quadratic formula is derived. How is the quadratic formula derived? We'll see that. Am I clear, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So before we understand the third method, before we solve a quadratic equation by using the quadratic formula, we should understand how the quadratic formula is derived. Okay. So this is the derivation of the quadratic formula. Consider the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. You know, a, b, c are real numbers and a should not be equal to 0. So take it up here. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. First step, shift c to the other side. That is transpose c. C is the constant. This is the x squared term. This is the x term. This is the constant. This is the x squared term. This is the x term. This is the constant. Shift the constant or transpose the constant. That's the first step. So ax squared plus bx is equal to c. Next, divide by the coefficient of x squared throughout. Divide the equation throughout by the coefficient of x squared. So what is the coefficient of x squared? A. So you should divide the equation throughout by a. So when you divide this one ax squared by a, you will get x squared. When you divide ax squared by a, you will get x squared. A and a will get cancelled, so you get x squared. Then when you divide bx by a, you will get b by a x. I'm just showing that x separately. Why b by a x is because x, this is the x term, x and its coefficient is b by a, that's all. Bx by a is also correct. Bx by a is also correct. B by a x, just to say that this is the x term whose coefficient is b by a, that's all. So we divide throughout by the coefficient of x squared, which is a. Ax squared by a is x squared. Bx by a is b by ax is equal to minus c by a is minus c by a. So this is what happens when we divide throughout by a. Next, we had this is the x term. This is the x term. B by a is the coefficient of the x term. This is the x term and b by a is the coefficient of the x term. Now half of this, that is half into b by a, half into b by a, half into b by a will be b by 2a, will be b by 2a. All right, so we add b by 2a the whole square to both the sides. How do we get b by 2a? b by a x.
We want to divide the b by a divided by 2.
Yeah, we look at the x term, b by a x. B by a x is the x term, and the coefficient of x there is b by a. Half of b by a is b by 2a. 1 by 2 into b by a is b by 2a. Now we will add b by 2a the whole square to both the sides. We'll add b by 2a the whole square to both the sides. So this is how it looks. X square plus b by ax plus b by 2a the whole square. Add b by 2a the whole square to the left hand side. Add b by 2a the whole square to the right hand side. Add b by 2a the whole square to the left hand side. Add b by 2a the whole square to the right hand side. So it looks like this. Adding b by 2a the whole square, that is half coefficient of x. Half coefficient of x, the whole square. Because half coefficient of x is b by 2a. Whole square, so whole square. Half coefficient of x, the whole square on both the sides. So when you do that, so what is the first step? Is to transpose c. So plus c becomes minus c. Next is to divide throughout by the coefficient of x squared. X squared, its coefficient is a. Divide throughout by a. That's the next step. Then you will have to add the square of half the coefficient of x. Half the coefficient of x. The square of that, you should add that to both the sides. So we are here now. Now you must break down this and show that this is in the form 2 into p into q. That middle term. This is a perfect square. This is a perfect square, x the whole square. B by 2a the whole square. So this is like p the whole square, and this is like q the whole square. P the whole square, q the whole square. So you must show that this is of the form 2 into p into q. 2 into p into q. 2 into p into q. You must show that this is of the form 2 into p into q. See, 2 into p is x. So x into q is b by 2a. See, children, how to write this? How to write this one? This is p the whole square. This is p the whole square. So what is p? X. This is q the whole square. So what is q? B by 2a. I'll repeat. On the left hand side, we have 1, 2, 3 terms. On the left hand side, we have 1, 2, 3 terms. And we believe that this makes a perfect square. We believe this makes a perfect square. For which we have p the whole square. P the whole square and q the whole square. We need to show that this is of the form 2pq. 2p which is x and q which is b by 2a. 2p which is x. So you can see it here. And q which is b by 2a. Now what happens? 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So b by ax. Yeah, that's what we have, b by ax. So this b by ax can be shown or can be written as 2 into p into q. That's what you have to do. Only then you can write it as p plus q the whole square. So this b by ax should be shown in the form 2pq. 2 into p which is x and q which is b by 2a. From here I wrote, see, b by 2a. This is q the whole square. So q is b by 2a. 2pq. Now 2 cancels. You don't cancel. I'm just telling you. So 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So b by ax. B by ax. So x squared plus, so sorry, p the whole square plus 2pq plus q the whole square is equal to, on this side, b square is b square, 2a the whole square is 4a square minus c by a. This is negative, right? So just writing it as a second term. That's all, nothing else. Written this one first, b square by 4a square first, and then minus c by a. Next, this is nothing but x plus b by 2a the whole square in the next step. X plus b by 2a the whole square, because it's perfectly of the form p the whole square plus 2pq plus q the whole square. So this can be written as p plus q the whole square. It can be written as p plus q the whole square. See, p plus q the whole square. These three terms can be written as p plus q the whole square, where p is x and q is b by 2a, is equal to, here take up the LCM. Take up the LCM here. 4a square and a, 4a square is LCM. So this b square as it is minus, there is a here, but the common denominator is 4a square, but there's only a here. So you should multiply the numerator by 4a. Multiply the numerator by 4a. So that will give you 4ac. 4ac. Now x plus b by 2a, the whole square is equal to b square minus 4ac by 4a square. So x plus b by 2a will be equal to the square root of plus or minus the square root of b square minus 4ac by 4a square. So x plus b by 2a is equal to plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac by 4a square. But the square root of 4a square is 2a. So you just have to put the square root for the sign for the numerator. The square root of the denominator is nothing but 2a. Denominator. The square root. So you'll have to take square root on the you should take the square root of the RHS. You should take the square root of the RHS. So in the RHS we have numerator and denominator. So the square root of the numerator as it is square root of b square minus 4ac by the square root of the denominator is 2a. Is 2a. The square root of 4a square is 2a. X plus b by 2a. X plus b by 2a is equal to plus or minus square root of the numerator by the square root of the denominator. But the square root of 4a square is 2a. So 2a here. Now remember, we are solving for x. We are solving for x. We are trying to find the formula to find x. So what should you do? X is, you should separate x from b by 2a. Only then you can find that expression for x. You must separate it from b by 2a. So transpose this one. Take it to the other side because x should be alone. X should be alone. So x is equal to transpose this minus b by 2a plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. See here, this one as it is. This one as it is. This one on the other side becomes minus b by 2a. Plus becomes minus b by 2a. Now you can see the common denominator is 2a. So you get minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac. The whole upon 2a. Now we assume that b square minus 4ac is not negative. If it is negative, what will happen? We'll see later.
And that is imaginary roots, no real roots.
Okay, fine. So no, when we are in this class, we should assume that we are learning it for the first time. You've already learned it in school, so yeah. So x is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. Now here we assume that b square minus 4 because there doesn't exist the square root of a negative number. The square root of a negative number is a complex number. It's not a real number. It's an imaginary number. Square root of minus 25. Square root of 25. In 8th standard, we have learned that the square root of 25, when we say square root of 25, you should take only the positive value.
Less than 5.
Plus 5. Plus
or
5.
Minus 5 into minus 5 is 25.
Then in 9th standard, we understood that it can be plus or minus 5. It can be plus or minus 5. So square root of 25 plus or minus 5. What about the square root of minus 25? We know that there is no number which when multiplied by itself can give us the product minus 25, which means the square root of a negative number does not exist. Square root of a negative, there exists cube root for a negative number. Now cube root of minus 8 is minus 2. Cube root of minus 8 is minus 2 because minus 2 into minus 2 into minus 2 is minus 8. The cube root of minus 64 is minus 4 because minus 4 into minus 4 into minus 4 is minus 64. Okay. So here we assume that, b square minus 4ac is not negative. It can be 0 or positive. It can be 0 or positive, but we assume that it's not negative. Okay, if it is negative, we'll see what happens. So x is equal to minus b. Okay, we were here. X is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. So since we have plus or minus, so we've got the two roots. We have got the two roots. So one of it is minus b plus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. And the other one is minus b minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. Not first. Once you take it with the plus sign, then with the minus sign. Anything first. You can show the minus here and then the plus here. So x can be this or x can be this. Now we call b square minus 4ac the discriminant. This is the quadratic formula. This one is the quadratic formula. X is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. You can see that the formula is in terms of a, b, and c. You can see that the formula is in terms of a, b, and c. Who are a, b, and c? A, b, and c. The coefficient of x squared, the coefficient of x, and the constant. The quadratic formula is in terms of a, b, and c. The quadratic formula is in terms of a, b, and c. That is, it's in terms of the coefficient of x squared, coefficient of x, and the constant. So this one is called the quadratic formula. This is the formula. See, when you're given a quadratic equation in x, you're asked to solve for x, right? We'll have to find the two values of x. This is what it is. X is equal to this one. So this is the quadratic formula. Using this formula, you can find the two values of x. This is the quadratic formula. So x is equal to this or x is equal to this one. Now b square minus 4ac, b square minus 4ac, this expression is called the discriminant. This is called the discriminant because this one determines. Okay, let's come to that later. I'll tell you what in detail discriminant means. For now, just take it like that. So b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant in the quadratic formula. This one is a quadratic formula. In the quadratic formula, this expression b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant. Discriminant. It's called the discriminant. And it's represented by capital letter D. It's represented by capital letter D. That is D. You can take away b square minus 4ac and write D. D means b square minus 4ac. D stands for discriminant. And discriminant is this expression b square minus 4ac. So you can rewrite this as x is equal to minus b plus root d by 2a. You can rewrite this as x is equal to minus b plus root d by 2a, or x is equal to minus b minus root d by 2a, where d is equal to b square minus 4ac. So now let's understand what happens if the discriminant, if the value of the discriminant, this will be why we are concerned about this, because this is under the square root. We are not worried about minus b and 2 and a because these are real numbers. A and b are real numbers. That's a definition, right? Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, c are real numbers. So we know a is real. A exists. B exists. We know that they are real. But this one, b square minus 4ac, is under the influence of the square root. So what if the value of b square minus 4ac is negative? What if the value of b square minus 4ac is negative? Then it becomes imaginary. Root of that negative value is imaginary. That is what is explained here. If d is equal to, that is if b square minus 4ac is greater than or equal to 0. It can be equal to 0 or greater than 0. Then the quadratic equation has real roots. Only then it has real roots. The value of d can be 0 because root 0 is 0. Root 0 is 0. D can be 0. That is the value of b square minus 4ac. It can be 0, no problem. Or it can be any positive value. It need not be a perfect square. If at all you have that feeling in your mind, take it away. B square minus 4ac need not be a perfect square. You need not get a 400 or a 9 or a 16 or a 25 or a 36 or a 64. No, nothing like that. B square minus 4ac can be any positive value. It can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 100, 1000, whatever. It can be any number. B square minus 4ac can be 0 or positive. So when it is 0 or positive, then the given quadratic equation will have real roots. If b square minus 4ac is not negative, that is it is 0 or positive, then the given quadratic equation will have real roots. But if this is negative, then there exists no square root for a negative number. In that case, the given quadratic equation has no real roots. The roots are imaginary. Like take the simple equation x square plus 64 is equal to 0. X square plus 64 is equal to 0 is a quadratic equation in one variable x. X square plus 64 is equal to 0 is a quadratic equation in one variable x. Now let's solve this. So x square is equal to minus 64. X is equal to this plus or minus square root of minus 64. No, there is no real value that can satisfy this equation. In this case, so this equation x squared plus 64 is equal to 0 has no real roots. That means in place of x, you cannot, no value of x, no real value of x can satisfy this quadratic equation. There is no real value. X squared plus 64 is equal to 0. In place of x, whatever value, whatever real value you take, the equation will not be satisfied. Because we know that the roots of a quadratic equation will satisfy the quadratic equation. Now, when you're given a quadratic equation and you find that 2 and 3 are the zeros, okay? So you find that 2 and 3 are the roots of the quadratic equation. That means what? In the quadratic equation, in place of x, when you use 2, the equation will be satisfied. Or when you use 3, in place of x, when you use 3, the equation will be satisfied. Only such values are called the roots of a quadratic equation. But when you consider this equation x squared plus 64 is equal to 0, on solving we get x squared is equal to minus 64, x is equal to square root of minus 64. There is no real value for square root of minus 64. That means the given quadratic equation, that is x squared plus 64 is equal to 0, has no real roots. Its roots are imaginary. It's a complex number. The roots are complex numbers. It's not a real number. It's not a number that exists. Real numbers exist. Okay, so that's what it is. When the discriminant is negative, that means the given quadratic equation will have no real roots. When the discriminant is 0 or positive, the given quadratic equation has real roots. It has real roots. When the value of d is 0 or the value of d is positive, then the given quadratic equation will have real roots. Roots exist. But when the value of d is negative, it means that the given quadratic equation has no real roots. It has no real roots. Okay, so if b square minus 4ac is greater than or equal to 0, if it is greater than or equal to 0, If it's less than 0, okay, what do we understand by greater than or equal to 0? Equal to 0, we understand. Greater than 0 means positive. Less than 0 meaning negative. Values less than 0 are negative values. When we say less than 0, we are talking about negative values. Greater than 0 are positive values. B square minus 4ac is greater than 0, meaning it's positive. Because values greater than 0 are all positive values. When we say b square minus 4ac is less than 0, we are talking about negative values. So when b square minus 4ac, the value of b square minus 4ac is equal to 0. It's equal to 0. Or if the value of b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, that means it's positive. In both the cases, the given quadratic equation will have real roots, and the roots are given by alpha. You know that alpha and beta are the roots of a quadratic equation. Alpha and beta, and they are given by alpha is equal. Same thing here. Whatever we see here, same thing. Alpha is equal to minus b plus root d by 2a, and beta is equal to minus b minus root d by 2a. Write this later, children. Take a screenshot. You have time, no, till Friday. Finish it before that. I told you about the discriminant. So took a screenshot?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, children. Yeah. So to derive the quadratic formula, first step, transpose C. First write the standard form of a quadratic equation in one variable x. Transpose C, first step. Then divide throughout by the coefficient of x square, which is a. Divide throughout, divide every term. There are 3 terms. Divide all the 3 terms by a. So that gives you the next step. Then so step 1, transpose. Step 2, divide by a. Step 3, add half the coefficient, the square of half the coefficient of x to both the sides. So where's the x term? This is the x term. What's its coefficient? B by a. What is half of that? B by 2a. What is the square of that? B by 2a, the whole square. Add that to both the sides. Then you'll have to show that this b by ax is perfectly of the form 2pq. So 2 into p into q. Then these 3 terms in the LHS, 1, 2, 3, these 3 terms in the LHS, they, these 3 terms make a perfect square, and that is x plus b by 2a, the whole square. RHS, we have to simplify by taking the LCM. And then since we have a square here, on the other side square root, we can find the square root of the denominator, which is 2a. And for the numerator, because it's b square minus 4ac, you cannot find its square root. So just write it as square root of b square minus 4ac. Don't forget the plus or minus sign. Then now we have almost derived it. We have to find the expression for x. So shift b by 2a or transpose b by 2a. So it comes like this. They have the same denominator. There are 2 terms. They have the same denominator. So common denominator. So yes, so this is the quadratic formula. This is the quadratic formula, and the 2 values of x. X can be write it with the plus sign once and then with the minus sign. So x can be this or x can be this. This is referred to as the quadratic formula, this one, wherein the expression b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant of the quadratic formula and is represented by the letter D, capital letter D. And in this formula, the value of b square minus 4ac is very crucial. If this is negative, then the given quadratic equation has no real roots. Its roots are imaginary. When b square minus 4ac, the answer for b square minus 4ac, b can be negative, a can be negative, c can be negative, but the value of b square minus 4ac, that entire thing should not be negative. B square minus 4ac should not be negative. If it is negative, it means the given quadratic equation has no real roots. Its roots are imaginary. But if b square minus 4ac is 0, it has roots. It has real roots. The given quadratic equation has real roots. And if b square minus 4ac is positive, then also the given quadratic equation has real roots. All right, so that's what you see here. And finally, we write it in terms of alpha and beta, because we know that alpha and beta are the roots of a quadratic polynomial or a quadratic equation. See, it's strictly zeros for a polynomial and roots for an equation, but they are used interchangeably. Strictly it is, we say zeros of a quadratic polynomial, roots of a quadratic equation in the very strict sense. The word zero, they refer to the same numbers. They refer to the same numbers. But when you say polynomial, when you address it as a polynomial, see, we say alpha and beta are the zeros of a quadratic polynomial. Alpha and beta are the roots of a quadratic equation. But then, you know, it is also used interchangeably. Yeah. So this is about the quadratic formula. Now here we understand why, b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant. We have learned discrimination, no, in social studies, or you may be learning. So discrimination is you are discriminating on the basis of something. We'll not go into that those something now, but yeah, so that is discrimination. We've learned various kinds of discrimination, how people and other things are discriminated on certain basis. Okay, so like that. So here, the roots, the nature of the roots, the expression b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant because it determines the nature of the roots of a quadratic equation. The expression b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant because this one determines this expression, the value of this expression determines the nature of the roots of a quadratic equation. What kind of root, nature of the roots meaning what kind of roots the given quadratic equation has or will have. Okay, so these are the three cases, you know that. D, the value of D discriminant when it is greater than 0, that is positive. When the discriminant is equal to 0. When the discriminant is less than 0, that is negative. Less than 0 meaning negative. So when it is positive, when it's greater than 0, it's positive. Then then alpha will be equal to it's positive. D is positive. So alpha will be minus b plus root d by 2a and beta will be minus b minus root d by 2a. You can also write this for alpha and this for beta again. There's nothing like this is only alpha and this is beta. You can write this for alpha and this one for beta. Okay. When it is equal to 0, when it's equal to 0, what happens is when the value of d is 0, what is root of 0? 0. So then this root d has no value there because it's plus 0. Then alpha will be minus b by 2a and beta also will be minus b by 2a because root 0 is 0. So it will be plus 0 minus 0. Doesn't make a difference, right? Plus 0 minus 0. So it's nothing but minus b by 2a minus b by 2a. So alpha is minus b by 2a, beta is also minus b by 2a because when it is some other positive value. Now supposing it is say just for convenience, supposing it is 4. Supposing it's 4. So square root of 4 is 2. So alpha will be minus b plus 2. But here it will be minus b minus 2. You will get different values. But when it is 0, when d is 0, square root of 0 is 0. Plus 0 minus 0. No difference. So that means alpha is minus b by 2a. Beta is also minus b by 2a. So when d is equal to 0, when the value of the discriminant is 0, both the roots will be equal and they'll be equal to minus b by 2a. Both the roots will be equal and they'll be equal to minus b by 2a. And the third case, when d is less than 0, that is, it's negative. The value of the discriminant is negative. In that case, the roots are imaginary. There exists no real roots. The roots are imaginary. So in these two cases, when it is positive, the roots are real. When the value of d is equal to 0, the roots are real. But what we see is the roots are equal in this case. When d is equal to 0, the roots are also equal. They are real, okay, but they're also equal. They're also equal. While here, they're real and they're unequal because, as we understood, root, if it is root 4 here, it'll be plus 2 and minus 2, which will give you two different values. Alpha and beta will be two different values. They'll not be the same value. Maybe they can be same in magnitude, but they will at least have opposite signs. Maybe it's 5 and minus 5. But they cannot be exactly the same value. Because when it is like root 25 is 5. So in one case it will be plus 5. The other case it will be minus 5. So definitely you will get two different values. Okay, so when the value of d, when the value of the discriminant is greater than 0, it's greater than 0, not only are the roots real, they are also unequal. The roots are real, they're also unequal. When the value of the discriminant is 0, the roots are not only real, they're equal also. They'll be equal to minus b by 2a. Equal roots are also called coincident roots. Equal roots are also called coincident roots. Unequal roots are also called distinct roots. So if we simply say that the equation has coincident roots, the equation has coincident roots. Supposing you come across that information, the quadratic equation has coincident roots. You should not ask if it is real or not real. Only if it is real, you can say that the roots are coincident. The roots exist. Coincident roots means their roots exist and they are coincident. So the word coincident itself, okay, or you read that the roots are equal. Equal means real and equal. When the word equal is used, roots are equal. Equal means real and equal. Or when you see the word unequal, roots are unequal. Roots are unequal meaning roots exist. Roots are real and unequal. So that's understood. But when they say that the roots are real, then you cannot make out the roots. When they say they are real, they can be real and equal or real and unequal. That we cannot make out. When you're given a quadratic equation and it's given that they have real roots, you're given a quadratic equation and there's an information which says that the roots are real. Roots are real, okay. Are they real and equal or real and unequal? That you cannot make out from the word real. So if it is given they're real, that means they may be equal or unequal. It cannot be both at the same time. It cannot be both at the same time. They can't be real. They cannot be equal and unequal. It will be any one of the two, but which you cannot make out from the word real. But when it is given unequal and equal, when you see unequal, that means they're real and unequal. If they're equal, they're real and equal. Or you simply see the word distinct, that means they're real and distinct. Distinct meaning different roots, unequal roots. When you read coincident, that means equal roots, real and equal roots. Take a screenshot, children. screenshot. You have to write all this, children. Don't miss that. Show you the slides from the beginning. So this is what we understood yesterday. All this you know, because you've seen it last year plus this year in polynomials. You can just take a screenshot and it's enough if you just go read this. You may write it. I'm not saying you don't have to write. It depends, you know, the time you have with you because you have the other subjects also. So you may just read this. You cannot forget these details. You can just have a read this. This also, you know, these are the three methods now. Factorization, completing the square, quadratic formula. These are the methods of solving a quadratic equation. So you know this. Yeah, this is important. This is new. So you have to write this. The derivation of the quadratic formula. Then once we derive the quadratic formula, we understood the nature of the roots. Who decides the nature of the roots of the equation? The discriminant, the value of b square minus 4ac. The value of b square minus 4ac determines the nature of the roots of the equation. Nature are these only. Nature is real, equal, real, unequal, imaginary. These are this is what is the nature of the roots. Are the roots real and equal? Are the roots real and unequal? Are the roots imaginary? This is what we understand by nature of the roots. Or this is what is meant by nature of the roots. So once we derived the quadratic formula, we understood the nature of the roots of a quadratic equation. This is the summary. We'll see how to solve using the quadratic formula, but I've here solved it by mistake. I've solved it by completing the square. So I've solved it behind here. So you can just take a picture. The heading is solve using quadratic formula. Solve using quadratic formula, but here the method is by completing the square. So this is the equation. I've solved it behind here. See here you can see 3a. The equation is, because I've shared the material, children, I'm just trying to clarify because you shouldn't be thinking that this is how we solve a quadratic. No, I've solved here by completing the square. This one, I've solved here by completing the square. Then I realized, oh my God, the heading is quadratic formula. So I've solved it behind here. This is the equation. What's the value of a? √2. What's the value of b? 7. And the value of c? 5√2. You can see it here. When you use the material, please follow this. So that this is the answer for the question in the earlier page. So these are the values of a, b, and c. These are the values of a, b, and c. So when you're using the quadratic formula, when you're using the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic equation, see, basically we are given a quadratic equation. We have to solve the equation for x. And we are solving by using the quadratic formula. So what we'll do is, first we'll get the values of a, b, and c from the equation. We'll get the values of a, b, and c. And here we have it, the values of a, b, and c. Next, let's find the value of d. D, which is given by b square minus 4ac. B square minus 4ac. The value of d is b square minus 4ac. So work b square minus 4 into a into c, which is 9. Now you know what are the roots. The roots are minus b plus root d by 2a and minus b minus root d by 2a. So you can see here x is equal to minus b. What is minus b? Minus 7 plus or minus root d. What is root d? Root 9 by 2a. 2a, that is 2 into root 2. 2 root 2. So to use the quadratic formula, to solve the quadratic equation, we need to first write out the values of a, b, and c. A, b, and c. The coefficient of x squared, the coefficient of x, and the constant. After this, find the value of d, which is given by b square minus 4ac. So substitute the values b, a, and c in b square minus 4ac and find the value of d. Next, the formula x is equal to minus b minus 7 plus or minus root d. What is d? D is 9. So root d, root 9 by 2a, 2 into root 2. And solve this further. X is equal to minus 7 plus or minus 3 by 2 root 2. So x is equal to once with the plus sign, then with the minus sign. So minus 7 plus 3 by 2 root 2, or x is equal to minus 7 minus 3 by 2 root 2. Work that further. Work that further. Let's have a look at this answer. I think you should have a look at the simplification here. All right, children. Is it understood? Why no response?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how many of you have learned this chapter in school?
Ma'am.
I mean, Kamala
Okay, Kamala Niketan, next.
Ma'am, Raja.
No, Rajaji, after that?
Mount Litra, ma'am.
Mount Litra, okay. Okay, then?
Amrita, ongoing, ma'am.
Ongoing, very good, okay. Shivani says Amrita ongoing, very good, okay, then? Shabari Grish, have you learned it already in school? Okay. So children, to use the quadratic formula, first find the values of a, b, and c from the equation, then find the value of d, which is given by the expression b square minus 4ac. Then substitute in the formula. X is equal to minus b plus or minus root d by 2a. So with plus, you'll get one value of x, and with minus, you'll get the other value of x. So we've seen all the three methods. Also work this, children. Here I've worked by completing the square. I'm repeating this. The heading is solved by using the quadratic formula. By mistake, I worked it by completing the square. So you can work it under the heading completing the square. There is a heading, right? Solve by completing the square. You can write this question under that heading and solve it by completing the square. And under this heading also, you can write the same question and work it by using the quadratic formula. You can see both in this paper. Let's see this one now. The quadratic formula is pretty simple, children. That's all it is. Anyways, we will see many questions based on that, but I'm just telling you that it's just this: get the values of a, b, c, find the discriminant, and put it in the formula. Minus b plus or minus root d by 2a. Finished. Okay, so now let's understand this method here by completing the square. We'll understand this method. We did not discuss this sum yesterday. We'll do this. We're discussing different methods, children. I hope you're clear. Factorizing by completing the square is what we're doing now. So the first step is to transpose that C term. This is the x square term, this is the x term, and this is the constant. Push it to the other side. So minus 5 root 2. That's the first step. Then we divide by the coefficient of x square. We divide by the coefficient of x square. So dividing this term by root 2, this one by root 2, and this one also by root 2. So that gives us this step. After dividing throughout by root 2, we get this step. Let me pause, have a look. Shift the constant, divide by the coefficient of x square throughout. And we have this. Now we have to add, we have to see, you know, it is half the coefficient of x. So you can directly write 7 by 2 root 2 the whole square is what you'll have to add on both the sides. 7 by 2 into root 2 or 2 root 2 the whole square. And this is what it is. Why it is like that is worked here. So that 2 into a into b is this, should be this term. 2ab is this term. So 2 into a we know is x. We don't know the b term. But all that is in this 2ab. 2ab has 2 in it, a in it, and b in it. This one has 2a and b in it. So 2 into, we know a is x, we don't know b. So we're trying to find b. So that b term is 7x by root 2. This one, 2 and x on the other side will be 1 by 2x. 2 and x on the other side will come here in the denominator. And on working that, you get 7 by 2 root 2. So you will always get half the coefficient of x. So half the coefficient of x meaning 7 by 2 root 2. And you'll have to add the square of this one on both the sides. 7 by 2 root 2, the whole square to both the sides, because you're adding the b square term. You're adding the b square term. 7 by 2 root 2, the whole square, we add on both the sides. On the other side, we already have a minus 5. And you must show that that middle term is of the form 2ab. So 2 into a, which is x, and b, which is 7 by 2 root 2. This is the b term. See here, this is your b term. This is the a term, x, and this is the b term, 7 by 2 root 2. Now this one works, see 2 will get cancelled. 2 and 2 will get cancelled, and you'll get 7 by root 2 x. 7 by root 2 x. That's what we have here. 7 by root 2 x. So this is a square plus 2ab plus b square, which is a plus b the whole square, is equal to, here we get 49 by 8, LCM 9 by 8 whole square. So plus or minus square root of 9 by 8. Square root of 9 is 3, and this one is 2 root 2. 8 is 2 root 2. 8 root 8 is 2 root 2. Root 9 3. Root 8 3 root 2. Then we are solving for x, so transpose this one, 7 by 2 root 2. Work with the plus sign. Then again with the minus sign. Values of x. X can be minus root 2 or minus 5 root 2. See, x is equal to plus or minus this one. So work x with the plus sign once, we get minus root 2. And with the minus sign, we get minus 5 root 2 by 2. the next one. Any questions, children? Let me show you the full paper. Any doubts, children?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, children. Yeah. So now see the next one. Now this is for the same, this heading, children. Solve using the quadratic formula. I told you what, not mistake exactly, but by mistake I worked it in a different method. So now this one is for this heading, solve using the quadratic formula. So this one I worked by using the quadratic formula, not by completing the square, quadratic formula. So quadratic formula, we know the first it should be in the standard form. Can you see the x square term? Yes. X term? Yes. Constant? Yes. To use the quadratic formula, it should be in the perfect form. You must be able to see the x square term, the x term, and the constant. There should be only 3 terms. X square term, x term, and the constant. Yes. We can see the x square term, the x term, and the constant. See, if you can use a different method, it's so easy to factorize this. But this one we have to factorize using the quadratic formula. It's a little time consuming. Otherwise, if you can use any method, then it's very easy. We'll see that also later. So now by using the quadratic formula, let's first get the values of a, b, and c. So you can see here, coefficient of x squared, 1 is a. The coefficient of x, this one is b, and the constant is c. That is the first step. Next is to find the value of d. Children, b is minus root 3 plus 1 because the standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. The standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So plus bx it is, but there's a minus sign here. So it will be minus of root 3 plus 1. B is minus of root 3 plus 1. Then let's find b square minus 4ac. So you can see, do it very carefully. See it. The entire thing, this is b, no? Put a square bracket. Put a square bracket. B square, this is, put a square bracket. B square. That's what you see here. B square minus 4ac. 4 into a into c. B square minus 4ac. You can see b here, square minus 4ac. Now minus into minus plus. Minus into minus, because the whole of b should be squared. This entire thing is squared. So when you square minus, it becomes plus. And root 3 plus 1, the whole square. Minus 4 root 3. Now tell me what is this I've written here.
Ma'am, you expanded and then subtracted minus 4 root 3.
No, I didn't.
Got.
No, I did not do all that. Immediately, I have not missed any step.
Ma'am, a plus b the whole square minus 4
Yeah, yes, Srinivasan, continue. Minus 4ab
is equal to a minus b the whole square.
Yeah. Yes, perfect. So you should use this identity to save time. A plus b the whole square minus 4ab is equal to a minus b the whole square. A plus b the whole square minus 4 into a into b. 4 into a, that is root 3 into 1. So 4 root 3. 4ab, 4 into root 3 into 1, which is 4 root 3. So this is perfectly of the form a plus b the whole square minus 4ab, which can be written as a minus b the whole square. So the value of d is root 3 minus 1 the whole square. Don't expand it because the formula has root d and it's so convenient. It's already a perfect square. Don't expand it. Don't expand the expression for d because In the formula, when you substitute, it's going to be root d. So it's very convenient to get rid of the square root symbol. So let this remain. So d is equal to root 3 minus 1 the whole square. Don't expand this. Now so what's the first step? Get the values of a, b, c. Next, find the discriminant by substituting the values of a, b, c in this expression b square minus 4ac. Now this looks like a plus b the whole square minus 4ab, which is a minus b the whole square. D is equal to root 3 minus 1 the whole square. Next, write the formula and substitute. Write the formula. X is equal to minus b plus or minus root d by 2a minus b. It was already minus, so minus into minus plus. B was minus root 3 plus 1. B was minus root 3 plus 1. So minus b will be plus root 3 plus 1. Plus or minus root d, we just found, by 2a. So this one, children, minus b, negative b, minus b. B already had a minus sign outside. So minus into minus plus. So it's plus here. Now under the square root, we have root 3 minus 1 the whole square. This is d. This is d. So you can get rid of the square root. You will get root 3 minus 1. Square root of root 3 minus 1 the whole square is root 3 minus 1. There's plus or minus here by 2. So work it once with the plus sign, then with the minus sign. When you're doing with the minus sign, you'll have to be careful. Minus into root 3 is minus root 3. Minus into minus is plus, because outside the bracket, when you have the minus sign, to remove the bracket, minus into root 3 is minus root 3. Minus into minus plus 1 by 2. So here, once we work it with the plus sign, then with the minus sign. When you're working with the minus sign, be careful. Don't forget to multiply the minus sign with every term inside the bracket. And here you see the values of x are x can be root 3 or x can be 1. Okay. So in this material, we finished all this. Finished. Yes, we have discussed all this. Yeah. Yes, we'll keep this for a later date, not now. Oh no, I think you now learn the nature of the roots, right? Yeah, we're ready. Yeah. Okay, children. So now, if it's given, children, if it is given that the quadratic equation. Okay, when the value of d is 0, what does it tell you about the roots of the equation when the value of d is 0?
Ma'am, it has equal roots, ma'am.
Okay. When the value of d is 0, see now, that is we find out. We find the value of d and we find that it's 0. So when d is 0, yes.
Ma'am, Arnold is saying he has doubt in the chat, ma'am. He is saying he's unable to speak.
Oh, okay. What's his doubt? Has he messaged? Can you just read it out, Srinivasan? What's the doubt? In which question? Maybe I can explain the whole thing. In which one?
Ma'am, he's saying that, ma'am,
Ma'am, he didn't mention.
ma'am, I have a doubt, but I'm not able to speak like that. Now he's put his doubt, ma'am.
Ma'am, the previous sum.
Which one?
Ma'am, he's asking in previous sum if we can expand the bracket for B.
For D, huh?
Ma'am, B.
This one. Oh, okay, yeah, you can expand. You can, when you expand, you will get the terms. When you expand, you will get only 2 terms. So you will be confused as to how to proceed. That's the problem. When you expand this, okay, do it now, children. Let's work it and understand. Okay, let me tell you. You will get only 2 terms. Yeah. Arnav, I'm sure you can hear me. So now we'll do that. Now let's expand this, children. Expand this, all of you. Root 3 plus 1 the whole square. Expand it. A plus B the whole square is equal to A square plus 2AB plus B square. Expand that. Done.
4 plus 2 root 3. Ma'am.
4 plus
2
2
root
root
3.
3. Okay, 4 plus 2 root 3. Okay, so 4 plus 2 root 3 minus 4 root 3, right? So what's that,
Yes, ma'am.
Tirunesh? Yeah, tell me finally what do we get for D? 4.
4 minus 2 root 3.
Yeah, 4 minus 2 root 3. Now, children, now when you have D is equal to 4 minus 2 root 3 under the square, when you write this under the square root, root D, so you will have root 4 minus 2 root 3. Yeah, you don't know because you feel it's actually a perfect square. 4 minus 2 root 3 is actually a perfect square, but it doesn't look like that. 4 minus 2 root 3 definitely does not look like a perfect square, but it is actually a perfect square. We'll see how. So according to, like what Arna wanted, we expanded. We expanded root 3 plus 1 the whole square, and we got 4 plus 2 root 3. 4 plus 2 root 3 minus 4 root 3. So it will be 4 minus 2 root 3. 4 minus 2 root 3. Now this is a perfect square. You must write, to show it and to write it as a perfect square, you must split 4 as 3 plus 1. Do it in your book, all of you children. D is equal
Yes, ma'am, I done that like only more.
D is equal to 4 plus 2 root 3. D is equal to 4 plus 2 root 3. Not plus 2 root 3, minus 2 root 3. Sorry. D is equal to 4 minus 2 root 3. Correct? Should we proceed from there? On expanding and subtracting with 4 root 3, we get D is equal to 4 minus 2 root 3. Now write 4. Next step, write 4 as 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1 minus 2 root 3. You must write 4 as 3 plus 1 minus 2 root 3. Now 3 should be written as root 3 the whole square. Next step. 3 should be written as root 3 the whole square. One should be written as 1 the whole square. So root 3 the whole square plus 1 the whole square minus 2 root 3 should be written as 2 into root 3 into 1. 2 into A into B. So you have this D is equal to root 3 the whole square plus 1 the whole square minus 2 into root 3 into 1, which is of the form A square plus B square minus 2AB, which is A minus B the whole square, and which is root 3 minus 1 the whole square. If you now maybe you realize that yes, it is a perfect square, but what if you didn't realize? So it's better you don't open the bracket whenever, and see, we use the identity to save time. You can expand. Even if you expand, you will get exactly the same answer. Now, in this case, when it was 4 minus 2 root 3, you should know that you should write 4 as 3 plus 1 and proceed. Understood, all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah.
he's asking a different doubt, ma'am.
Okay, then I think I'll help him later. Arnav, please, post your question on WhatsApp. Let me get back to you later. We're here. So children, I was asking you, yes. Now quadratic equation, let's just, fill something in our mind. Quadratic equation, discriminant, sorry, quadratic formula, okay, quadratic equation, quadratic formula, b square minus 4ac, discriminant. Yeah. Now, when the value of the discriminant is 0, we say that the quadratic equation has what? When the value of D is 0,
real and equal roots.
Yeah, we say that the quadratic equation has real and
equal roots.
Yeah. Conversely, if the quadratic equation has real and equal roots, that means the value of D is 0. It is true both the ways. It's true both the ways. If the value of D is 0, then the equation has equal roots. If it is given that the equation has equal roots, then the value of D is 0. Next, if the value of D is positive, see, 0 is neither positive nor negative. So 0 doesn't come under positive. So when D is positive, that is D is greater than 0, D is positive. When the value of the discriminant is positive, the equation has real and unequal roots. Conversely, if the quadratic equation has real and unequal roots, that means the value of D is greater than 0. If in the quadratic equation the value of D is less than 0, it's negative, then the equation has no real roots. Conversely, if it is given that the equation has no real roots, it's a quadratic equation, but it's given that it has no real roots. That means the value of D is less than 0. The value of D is negative. The other term for equal, coincident. The other term for unequal, distinct. When the zeros are distinct, different zeros, when the two, okay, I told you zeros roots are the same, okay? We use it like that. though there is a little difference between the two. So when the roots are different, they're distinct, they're unequal, alpha is equal to minus b plus root d by 2a, beta is equal to minus b minus root d by 2a. When the roots are equal, both the roots are equal to minus b by 2a. When d is less than 0, no real roots. If the roots are real and unequal, then d is greater than 0. If d is greater than 0, then the roots are real and unequal. If the roots are equal, then the value of d is 0. If d is 0, then the roots are equal. So if you find this, then this is true. That's what it works both the ways. That's what I'm trying to say. It works both the ways. When the roots are unequal, the roots are minus b plus root d by 2a and minus b minus root d by 2a. When they're equal, both the roots are equal to minus b by 2a. If minus 4 is a root of the equation x squared plus 2x plus 4p is equal to 0, find k. Sorry, I didn't read it properly. If minus 4 is a root of the equation x squared plus 2x plus 4p is equal to 0, find k for which the quadratic equation, this one, has equal roots. So there are two different things given to us. Here you can see a quadratic equation. We know that a quadratic equation can have a maximum of 2 roots. One root is given here. That means this value minus 4 will satisfy this equation because it's given to be a root. Minus 4 is a root of this equation. Children, don't read. See, I can't hide all that. Please, let's do it together. Don't read ahead. So since it's given that minus 4 is a root of this quadratic equation, that means minus 4 will satisfy this equation. So in place of x, when you use minus 4, you can work this equation and find the value of p. So that is what we can get from the first information here. Minus 4 is a root of this equation. So in place of x, if it's a root, it will satisfy the equation. So instead of x, when you use minus 4, the equation will hold, and that way you can find the value of p. Okay, then what? You must find k. Now they are not asking you to find p, but we'll find p because that's useful for us. They're not asking us to find p, but we are finding p for a different reason. Find k for which this quadratic equation has equal roots, not the first one. The second one, the second quadratic equation has equal roots. And see, in the second quadratic equation, can you see the same letter p? It's the same letter. In one question, you have the same letter used. So you can use this value minus 2 here. You can use this value minus 2 here. That's why we found p. P. See, this p we found is minus 2. You can use this value here. You can use this value here. So after finding p, this is the quadratic equation, the second quadratic equation. Instead of p, use minus 2. You can see it, you see x squared minus 2x. And then you can see this one into 1 plus 3k plus 7 into 3 plus 2k is equal to 0. The only difference is in place of p, we've used minus 2. So it's given that this equation has equal roots. It's given it has equal roots. You don't have to prove that it has equal roots. It is given to you that they have equal roots. Not they, sorry, it has equal roots. It's given to you that the quadratic equation has equal roots. That means what? That means the value of d is 0. If it has equal roots, that means the value of d is 0. So it's given that this quadratic equation has equal roots. This is the quadratic equation. So minus 2, we have substituted minus 2 into plus into minus 2x. So it's given that this quadratic equation has equal roots, which means the value of d is 0. So d is 0 means b square minus 4ac. B square minus 4ac is equal to 0. D is 0 meaning b square minus 4ac is 0. So now for the in this equation, which is b, the coefficient of x. That means cover the x. The rest of it is b. Cover that x term alone. See, there are 3 terms here. This is the x square term, this is the x term, and this is the constant. You can see here there is no x or x square. There is no x or x square here. There is no x or x square here. This is the x term. This is the x square term. B square, that means b is the coefficient of x. B is the coefficient of x. So remove, don't see the x term. X, not x term, don't see this x here. So minus 2 into 1 plus 3k is the value of b. Minus 2 into 1 plus 3k is the value of b. Minus 2 into 1 plus 3k. This is the value of b. B the whole square, because b square. So b the whole square. Minus 4 into a into c. A is 1. Coefficient of x square is 1. And c is this one. 4ac. Are we following? Any doubt with the expressions for A, B, and C?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
All right, children. So B is, I told you in the x term, other than x, everything is B. In the x term, along with the sign in the x term, other than x, the rest of it is B. So minus 2 into 1 plus 3k is B. That entire B should be squared. So start the square bracket outside minus 2. This full thing is B. This full thing is B. So you use a square bracket. Enclose the whole of B in a square bracket and square it. This is B. From here to here is B. So open a square bracket in front of minus 2. Close the square bracket here after 1 plus 3k and square it. Minus 4ac is equal to 0. Why? Okay, so see here. It is given that this equation has equal roots. This one has equal root. That means d is equal to 0. We don't have to find if d is 0. D will be 0 because it has equal roots. So we know that d is 0. Because it has equal roots, we know that d will be 0. So d is nothing but b square minus 4ac is equal to 0. See, you should just write this one. If you write d is 0, that's all. You can solve it. See, you have an equation, d is 0. That means b square minus 4ac is 0. That means this one is 0. Now work this, solve this. So how do you solve it? Minus 2 when you square it, you will get plus 4. Minus 2 when you square it, you get plus 4. 1 plus 3k the whole square. 1 plus 3k the whole square. Minus 7 4s are 28 into 3 plus 2k is equal to 0. Divide by 4 throughout, because you can see here this now in the left hand side we have only 2 terms. In the left hand side we have 2 terms separated by a minus sign. Separated by a minus sign. This is one term. This is one term. And this is the second term. This is the second term. Both the terms have 4 in common. So divide by 4 throughout. When you divide by 4 throughout, the first term when you divide by 4, you will be left with 1 plus 3k the whole square. 4 will get cancelled. Minus here when you divide by 4, 4 1s are 4 7s are 28. So 7 will remain. Minus 7 into 3 plus 2k is equal to 0 by 4. 0 also. You should divide the LHS and RHS by 4, not only the LHS. Whatever you do on the left hand side, you must do the same thing on the right hand side. Only then you will not disturb the equation. You cannot do something to one side and leave the other side like that. So we are dividing by 4 throughout. So we are dividing 0 by 4, which is 0. This term divided by 4 gives us this. This term divided by 4 gives us this. And the 0 by 4 is 0. Now expand it. Now, please follow the same procedure. Please do it like this. Divide by 4 throughout. Please do it exactly like this. Don't waste time expanding and multiplying with 4, multiplying all this by 28. You will get the same answer, but you will take a longer time. That's all it is. So simplify the equation like this. And now expand. Expand. A plus b the whole square. A square b square 2ab. And multiply 7 inside and you get these two terms. This is equal to 0. Now on solving this, on working this further, we get 9k square minus 8k minus 20 is equal to 0, which is a quadratic equation in k. Which is a quadratic equation in k. So solve this one. You can split the middle term, or you can even use the quadratic formula. You can split the middle term, or you can solve by completing the square, or you can use the quadratic formula. Now that you know 3 methods, you can use it everywhere you see a quadratic equation. And if you have to solve the quadratic equation, you can use any one of these 3 methods. You can split the middle term, you can complete the square, you can use the quadratic formula. But when you use the quadratic formula, you must say k is equal to, not x is equal to. You must say k is equal to minus b plus or minus root d by 2a. K is equal to, not x is equal to, whatever is a variable. If the variable is y, you must say y is equal to minus b plus or minus root d by 2a.
No doubt, no.
Yeah.
And first I multiplied that minus 2 with 1 plus 3 came, so I got minus 2 minus 12 came. After that I have squared and I got 1 plus 42k plus 36 squared minus 21 plus 14 came.
You're not getting this equation, is it?
Yes, no.
Okay. You should, because it's, it's simple algebra. Maybe you've gone wrong in, working. I think you can help yourself there, but just in case you're not able to, you have to. I think yesterday's picture of yours also I couldn't see. You put it on WhatsApp. Let me have a look and get back to you.
Okay.
So expand this, children. Expand this, multiply by 7, and we get a quadratic equation in k. I was telling you that you can solve this equation. You can find k by splitting the middle term, by using the quadratic formula, or by completing the square. So here I've split the middle term. Here I've split the middle term. So see here, split the middle term, and we get k is equal to 2 or k is equal to minus 10 by 9. That's what we had to do. We had to find k. We had to find k. So k can be 2 or k can be minus 10 by 9. The value of k can be 2 or the value of k can be minus 10 by 9.
Yes, no, I sent no.
Okay. Look at the answer 5, and also go through answer 6. I'll just get back in a minute. Yes, Arnav, I just read your message. Arnav says, why can't we multiply this minus sign inside? So as minus root 3 minus 1. So you can use it, you can multiply, you can use you can multiply root 3 and 1 with the minus sign, so you will get minus root 3 minus 1, and after that I don't know what you want to do, if you want to expand it. So if you have to expand minus root 3 minus 1 minus root 3 minus 1 the whole square, then depends on which identity you're taking. If you're looking at it as a plus b the whole square, then a will be minus root 3 and b will be minus 1. If you're using a minus b the whole square, then a will be minus root 3, b will be plus 1. You can multiply the sign, minus sign inside. So what I suggest is, Arnav, you can work it out. And then just in case you're not getting it or you're not able to proceed, I'll help you what to do. You can multiply the sign inside, minus inside. But we know we are going to square it, right? B is going to be b square it is. So it's just a smart work that you don't multiply the minus inside. It's just a smart work because you know you're going to square b. So when you have the minus outside as it is, you're going to square it anyway. So then minus into minus plus, you always wish to go ahead with the plus sign, right? So it's better you keep it out. You don't multiply it with the terms inside the bracket, because in b square, minus into minus is going to become plus. And later also, if you want to expand this root 3 plus 1 the whole square, it's convenient. If you had multiplied the minus inside, you would have minus root 3 minus 1 the whole square. Minus root 3 minus 1 the whole square. You have to expand that further by using a plus b the whole square or a minus b the whole square. You can do it like that. That's the answer to your question. You can do that. Now, children, what I want you to do is, also write 2x minus 5 the whole square and expand it. Or if you expand 2x minus 5 the whole square. Expand it.
Yes, ma'am, completed.
Okay,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
what is the expansion, children? Read out the
4x
expansion.
square minus
On
20x plus
4x square
25.
minus 20x plus 25, ma'am.
Perfect. 4x square minus 20x plus 25. Now, all of you find the value of d. The value of d. What is d? B square minus 4ac. All of you find b square minus 4ac for this. Okay, let me say 2x minus 5 the whole square is equal to 0. Because you want it to be an equation, right? 2x minus 5 the whole square is equal to 0. So you have 4x square minus 20x plus 25 is equal to 0. Now find the value of d. B square minus 4ac.
Ma'am, it will get equal roots.
Equal to 0, ma'am.
It's equal to
Equal
0.
roots, ma'am.
It's
Because
equal
there
to
is
0.
equal to 0.
Kindly answer the question. I said find the value of D. What is the
Ma'am,
value
it
of
is
D?
0.
Value of D is 0. What is the calculation like? What did you get before 0? How did you get 0?
400
Ma'am,
minus
20
400.
square minus
Yeah, 20 minus 20 the whole square, then
Minus
4
4
into
into 4 into 25.
4 into
yeah, minus 20 the whole square minus 4 into 25, which is minus 400 minus, sorry, which is 400 minus 400, 0. So what did you start with? You started with a perfect square, 2x minus 5 the whole square. The quadratic equation is a perfect square. 2x minus 5 the whole square is a perfect square. You expanded that and you got 4x square minus 20x plus 25. When you find the discriminant of an equation which is a perfect square, the value of D is 0. You just checked it yourself. When the quadratic equation is a perfect square, then the value of D is 0. You checked it yourself. 2x minus 5 the whole square. It doesn't work only for 2x minus 5 the whole square. You take anything, any perfect square. It can be plus or minus. But even if it is 2x plus 5 the whole square, 3x minus 7 the whole square, 3x plus whatever, any perfect square. If the quadratic equation is a perfect square, you will see that the value of D is 0. We just took one for example now. So 2x minus 5 the whole square is equal to 0 is a quadratic equation which is a perfect square. And when we found the value of D, we got 0. So D is 0. The value of the discriminant is 0 when the quadratic equation is a perfect square. Now in question number 6, find the value of alpha for which the quadratic equation, what was given there, is a perfect square. It's given that the quadratic equation is a perfect square. So you know one thing for sure. See, you need some condition to work with. That's why we are writing D is 0. You need some, now D is equal to 0 as an equation. Now you can easily use this equation and find the value of alpha. And why is D 0? Because it's given that the quadratic equation is a perfect square. If the quadratic equation is a perfect square, then the value of D is 0. That means it has equal roots. It has equal roots. Yes, when you solve 2x minus 5 the whole square is equal to 0. When you solve it, what will you get? 2x minus 5 the whole square is equal to 0. That means 2x minus 5 into 2x minus 5 is equal to 0. 2x minus 5 the whole square is equal to 0 means 2x minus 5 into 2x minus 5 is equal to 0. So when you equate each of it to 0, 2x minus 5 is equal to 0, x is equal to 5 by 2. Again, you have 2x minus 5 by 2, sorry, 2x minus 5 is equal to 0, x is equal to 5 by 2. So you're getting 5 by 2 in both the cases. Equal roots. That means equal roots, perfect square, D is equal to 0. They all go together. Equal roots, perfect square, D is equal to 0. Equal roots means D is 0. Perfect square also means D is 0. That's all. Once you know, once you can identify some condition like this, it's easy. Ahead it's easy. So D means B square minus 4AC is equal to 0 because D discriminant means B square minus 4AC is equal to 0. Now this is the quadratic equation. What is B? Cover X. In the X term, cover X. Whatever is remaining is B. This is the X square term, this is the X term, and this is the constant. The coefficient of X is B. This is B, 2 into alpha minus 12. That entire thing is squared. B is squared. The whole of B is squared. Minus 4 AC. AC. This is the coefficient of X square. A is the coefficient of X square. And C. This is A. What is before X? Not before. Whatever is the coefficient of X square. usually before it. That's all. So this is b square minus 4. AC is equal to 0. Now 2 square is 4. 2 square is 4. Alpha minus 12 the whole square minus 8. 4 2s are 8. 4 2s are 8 into alpha minus 12 is equal to 0. 4 throughout. Divide throughout by 4. So you get alpha minus 12 the whole square minus 2 because when you divide this by 4, 4 and 4 will get cancelled and you get this. When you divide this by 4, 4 1s are 4 2s are. 4 2s are 8. So 2 into alpha minus 12 is equal to 0. Now alpha minus 12 is common. You cannot divide by alpha minus 12 throughout because you're trying to find the value of alpha. If you divide by alpha minus 12, you will lose one value of alpha. When you're solving for alpha, don't divide by an expression which has alpha. When you do that, you will, supposing you're, you're about to get two values for alpha, you will get only one. You can divide by any number, not 0. You can divide by any constant. Don't divide by an expression that has the variable which you're trying to find. You're trying to find the value of alpha. Don't divide by alpha minus 12 because that's common. Don't divide because you will not get both the values of alpha. You will get only one then. So you can divide by 4, but not by alpha minus 12. Divide by 4, you get this. Then this is one term. This is the other term. You can see that alpha minus 12 is common. Alpha minus 12 is common. So alpha minus 12 into alpha minus 12 is alpha minus 12 the whole square. Alpha minus 12 into alpha minus 12 is alpha minus 12 the whole square. Alpha minus 12 into minus 2 is minus 2 into alpha minus 12. This one is equal to 0. So then work this alpha minus 12 minus 2. So alpha minus 14. So alpha minus 12 into alpha minus 14 is 0. That means when alpha minus 12 is 0, alpha is equal to 12. When alpha minus 14 is 0, alpha is equal to 14. Now 12 is not possible because when alpha is 12, 12 minus 12 is 0, 0x square. It will no longer be a quadratic equation. When you get two values for alpha, when you get two values, just check if both of them can happen. Now here in this case, alpha 12 is not possible because the coefficient of x square is alpha minus 12. If alpha is 12, 12 minus 12 is 0, 0x square, then it will not be a quadratic equation. So alpha is equal to 12 is not possible. That means alpha is 14. The only value of alpha is 14. But in the earlier sum, we got 2 and we got k is 2 and k is minus 10 by 9. But k has no influence. K is not in the x square term. K is somewhere else. That's okay. We are only concerned that the coefficient of x square should not become 0. The x term can be 0, the constant can be 0. That doesn't affect the quadratic equation. So we are only concerned that because it's a quadratic equation, then the coefficient of x square should not be 0. But here x square is not influenced. I'm talking about question number 5. In question number 5, x square is not influenced by the value of k because x square is independent. There is no k element in x square. We found k is 2, k is minus 10 by 9. But k does not have any impact on x square because x square is not attached to k at all. Here, x square is not attached to k at all. K is here in the x term, k is in the constant. That's okay. That's not going to affect the quadratic equation. So that's why we accepted both the values of k because x square is independent of the value of k. Whatever be the value of k, it will still be a quadratic equation. Okay. So in the earlier sum in question number 5, k can be 2 or k can be minus 10 by 9. But in this one, you can see that x square, the coefficient of x square is alpha minus 12. So the value of alpha influences the equation. So when alpha is 12, 12 minus 12 x square, 0 x square. So if alpha is 12, this will not be a quadratic equation at all, but it's given it's a quadratic equation. But when alpha is 12, it will not be a quadratic equation. So alpha cannot be 12. Alpha is equal to 14. So the only value of alpha is 14. These are two very important questions. Very important questions. Very simple. Very simple. Nothing. You just have to, when it is a perfect square, you should just identify the condition that d is 0. That's all. When it's a perfect square, d is 0. If d is 0, b square minus 4ac is 0. Now get the values of a, b, c. Substitute. That's it. These two are very important questions. So what we have seen so far are the three different methods of solving a quadratic equation. Factorization, completing the square, quadratic formula. Then today we saw how the quadratic formula is derived. We understood the value of the expression b square minus 4ac, which is why it's called the discriminant, as it decides the nature of the roots of the quadratic equation. And then we understood the different situations when d is 0, d is less than 0, d is greater than 0. And see, according to me, this is important. Important not to expand. So here important that we don't multiply this, because b is negative here, but we know b square is going to be positive. So we don't multiply the minus sign inside, because anyways you're going to square it and minus into minus will become plus. So why simply multiply inside? And also we don't expand this. We have to identify that this is of the form a plus b the whole square minus 4ab, which is a minus b the whole square. Don't spend time expanding then calculating the like terms. Then you have 4, you should write that as 3 plus 1. All that should occur to you. Use the identity here. A plus b the whole square minus 4ab is a minus b the whole square. So you learn this one, and then you when you expand you will get 4 minus 2 root 3. When you expand you will get 4 minus 2 root 3. In that case you will have to write 4 as 3 plus 1, and 3 is root 3 the whole square and 1 is 1 the whole square. Yeah, and these two questions are very important. I've shared the material, so it's okay if you didn't take the picture. These 4 pictures were already sent on WhatsApp yesterday. Any doubts, children?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, I have sent my picture in WhatsApp.
Yeah.
No, ma'am.
Okay, children. Next we can. All right. So I have word problems on quadratic equations, but it's time. Yeah, these are word problems. All right, children, since it's time, that's it for today's session. If you have any questions, please stay back, children, else you may leave the meeting. Thank you, children.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
children.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, children.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.